So stage 3, that's going to be another one of those stages where I wish our show was a little bit longer, because I want to talk about an anime this week called Steins Gate. We've all seen it. We could probably go maybe 1 or 2 minutes without spoilers. So get our initial impressions. We'll talk about spoilers right before. And then, I definitely recommend it to anybody that's listening or watching right now. Phenomenal anime. I teared up maybe once or twice. Very powerful. It deals with time travel. And I would say maybe a little boldly, probably one of the greatest time traveling telling a story I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's time travel in a unique way.
Yeah.
The concept is simple, and it's very slice of life, and then before you know it, you're in really deep, and you're carrying a really heavy load on your brain watching every episode.
You are, yeah.
So let's go, maybe like a minute or two. Oh, so it's following a quote unquote mad scientist, Okuren, and his friend Maori, and he's just doing little lab experiments. But yeah, it's really hard to talk about without spoilers too terribly long. Let me just hear what you guys thought about it when you watched it.
I'm gonna start. I remember you recommended me that series, and I started watching it, and for some reason, man, something pulled me out of it. I couldn't get hooked. I gotta admit that series, it has a slow start, but just like you said, man, once you realize like the deep consequences of time traveling, and you get involved and actually start liking the characters that are presented to you, man, you're really too deep in emotionally, and you start feeling that pounding on your heart like pretty bad. It is one of those series that you have to watch it carefully, be really, really, really patient, and you won't be disappointed. I don't know how to go deeper without spoiling, but basically it's a story about family more than anything else, and pretty much family and appreciation of what you have, and I believe those topics are very well represented, and it's actually a good story, man. Like, if you guys, and it's short too. How many seasons is it?
It's one season. It's 24 episodes.
Yeah, super easy to watch. I believe, again, it's a slow burn. Don't expect like a lot of actions off the bat. It's mostly, I believe, it's mostly intellectual than action oriented. So those of you who guys who likes a little bit of drama and a little bit of character development, you will definitely enjoy this series.
Yeah, to me it was like that too, man. Like, you will get your action scenes and all that stuff, but that's like later down the line, because that's when it starts to get like real deep real fast, like later on. Like well, man, it was a slow. Actually, Chris was the one that recommended it to me too, man, and
it was brutal.
I ended up watching it. It was, but you know what really made it help was the main character, how he's just so funny at the same time, dude. And I'm like, you know what, man, I just caught myself laughing. I'm like, all right, this guy's funny, dude. Like, he's kind of worth it right now. And then, yeah, man, and once they go into it, they start doing their thing, and then just like one thing happens like after another, and it just starts a domino effect. And like, in terms of the story, like regarding family, like you can tell like later on they just get closer and closer. Like their bond like just becomes so solid, dude. It's not even funny, man. And like towards the end of the series, man, like, yeah, I was kind of emotional too, man, because I was like, wow, man, these guys went through so much, dude. Like, it's crazy. Like, at the same time, it was a roller coaster at one point.
So we definitely can't. So moving forward will be spoilers. You should watch it, even if you keep watching, you haven't seen it. So there's it starts with, I guess we can just talk about it. If they're watching now, they've probably seen the show already.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the action stuff really quick, because as soon as you mentioned the action scenes, it immediately hit my head how powerful the very few action scenes were, and like how much, like when he's going to, and I don't mean to just spout random moments from the show, but it was just so goosebumps for me, is whenever he's trying to take the cell phone from what is the name of the girl that's always only can text?
Oh, the quiet one. I forget, but I know who you're talking. Like the long redhead with the glasses, right?
The one that's working for FD.
Yes. Yes.
Man, her name's escaping me. Yeah, if you can find it, Will. So when he's trying to take her cell phone, that scene is like you're not even rooting for her, and we'll have to rewind for a minute after this. But you're like you're mad at her, and I've got goosebumps. I'm like, oh my god, like is he gonna kill her? Like like the way that she was hurting fucking Maori is just, you're like, wow, he broke and he's gonna strangle her to death.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is crazy. But yeah, it is a slow, and I'll address the slow burn really quick too. I thought that made it so much more powerful whenever it happens, because it's a slice of life for like 9 episodes, and you're like, oh, this is funny. Like, what a funny, silly, he's trying to put bananas back in time. Like, this anime will be so silly. And then his best friend gets shot, and he goes like, and then after that,
sorry to interrupt you. I found her, but it's hard to pronounce. I believe it's Kiryu.
Did he have a nickname for her?
Moika Kiryu?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like Moika or something.
That's the one with the cell phone all the time.
Yeah, that's right. I don't remember if he had a nickname for her.
Because then you have Kurisu, which basically is Christina. He named something
Christina.
else. Mm-hmm. Because he puts a lot of nicknames to these characters.
And then Part-Time Warrior.
Exactly.
Warrior. There's not a lot of characters, so it's those three. So, and then there's
you got Itaru, which is the
big guy.
The big guy.
And the girl at the cat cafe.
Oh yeah, the cat cafe girl. What's
Faris?
Yeah, Ferris.
And
then what's the name of his buddy again? It's been such I can't believe I can't remember. It's late at night when we're recording, for what it's worth. It's what's his name of his buddy? Like his the fat hacker.
No man, I don't.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. So anyway, slow burn made me. I mean, when did you guys get? I remember, Will, when we were talking about it before, you hit the point where I remember you were watching an episode every day.
I was watching it like super slow.
I remember every day you would tell me, you'd come to work and be like, hey, this is good, but like what, I watched an episode last night, whatever. And then I watched an episode last night, whatever, like this is good. Like it's fine. Like it's keeping my interest to some extent. And then you came to work and you were like, dude, oh my God, the show turned on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how was that end ride for you? Like what did
I believe it was. I mean, I knew they were like traveling through time, but most of the consequences at the beginning were so trivial, and I believe it caught me. It caught me by surprise, because I kind of knew back in my head. I was like, maybe at some point something drastic is gonna happen, but I wasn't expecting to be that. You know what I'm saying? So they actually when I got, and again, we're spoiler section. When I saw that they pretty much killed that girl. What was his name? Like
Mary,
right?
Yeah.
That one.
Oh yeah.
So when they killed him, basically was his best friend, and again, everything before that was pretty much trivial. They did a few changes. Somebody received a text. This place that we used to eat, it's not there anymore. This neighborhood changed completely. But when the time traveling hit him personally, like straight in the heart with somebody that he deeply cared about, that was what activated the show for me, because I knew that, man, you screw up. Like, you really screw up. And just watching him trying again and nothing working to fix his mistakes, it got me, man. That's what's the point. When I went to you and said, dude, this is powerful. This is, dude, like,
when he was going back in time like a day and watching her die over and over and over and over and over.
It just took emotional toll. I believe you take that ride with him, and that's what makes this show so interesting, because it's like you rooting for him. You gotta save her, man. You gotta save her. Something must work. Something has to work. But nothing works, and at the same time, you get that feeling of urgency, you get that feeling of frustration, you get that feeling of hopelessness with the main character, which makes the series great, because you're going through that journey. That's when the series just exploded for me.
then it gets crazier from there because he's you know, he's stuck in this time loop, and then we get the girl with the cell phone. I mean, it turns out that the guy that's been texting her mission and giving her entire life self-worth is the dude that's renting him the apartment the entire time.
Yeah.
And then it's like they're looking for the Suzu-chan's father, and it ends up being his buddy. Like,
yeah, the series makes you believe that you're crazy all the time.
It's such a small it's such a small amount of characters, and it's such a small, it all exists in this little apartment, this small upstairs apartment. And there's so much shit that happens where you're like, wow, everything. It's like
the whole world is connected to that tiny apartment and that tiny set of events.
Dude, I mean, even getting to the point where he like needs to choose between Christina and Mayuri, and she's like, I know what you're gonna pick. Like, you just go save her and let me die or whatever. Like, dude, the whole show. I don't know. It's some like emotionally a lot of adrenaline.
It makes those emotional connections and then puts you into this difficult decision making moments. It's like, I mean, but you're his best friend and it's your fault that she dies and she's so nice, but also you love this person. This is the person you fall in love with. Yeah, but you got to choose which one to save. And it's really taxing, not only to the character but also to the viewer, man, because you're like pretty much on this ride with them.
That's a mental drain for sure, dude. Like, it was really mentally, like, honestly, yeah, man. I felt his pain, dude. Like, and there was like those episodes that I couldn't even breathe that much because it was it was that
like
nuts,
like
man.
you before it was like, oh my god, this thing ended and nothing happened, and then you were like at the end of the episode when you hit that point that everything was amazing. You feel exhausted. You say, oh my god, we'll have to go through this thing again tomorrow. Like it was good, man. I love those feelings. If I have a series that makes me feel that way, that means that the series is doing something right, because that's what it's about. It's basically make us care for these characters.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons.
Where the show got me, though, I was gonna say where the show got me like hooked was when they were testing out like the time travel experiment, and they were just doing it for kicks, and it was like, I don't even really want to say what they were using to do that, because that's just absurd, bro.
Yeah.
Like, for the viewers, I'm not even gonna say what they used to even make this possible, but it was in an apartment and it used like some sort of appliance, bro. That's all I'm gonna say to make all this shit happen. And the fact that they kind of got it to make it work, and then they were that's when his buddy Itaru was looking at like the black web, and he stumbled onto something similar that they were doing, but it was like this crazy like dark organization that was kind of doing the same thing with like these super, like, it was more high tech and all that stuff. And I just started laughing because I'm like, yo, these guys literally just stumbled onto that with an appliance, and I have no idea what they're about to get into, dude, because they were looking at all this stuff. And right after that, I was like, this show's dope. And then when we're talking about just now, pretty much just like piles on like after that, man, I was like, dude, this all started because of a fucking appliance, bro. Like, to be honest.
You're right too, though. There's that whole other layer where we're talking about all these things that are heavy in the, you know, so-called present, but there's also this person from the future that's texting the past, and they're on message boards like, there's an event that happened that there's going to start the end of the world and slavery, and all civilization is going to be enslaved, and you're like, really? Like, whoa, like, is that actually happening? So I talk about it because as emotionally taxing as it is, you know, it really does get you. And if you want to, I mean, for me, if you want to fall in love with characters, God, I mean, top 10 anime for me. If I'm gun to my head, it's such an enjoyable tiredness. Like, I don't know. I can't think of another time when I felt so exhausted from watching something and being like, this is great. I like it. Like I said, I teared up a couple times.
I think it takes you by surprise, man. Like I said, I believe the impactful thing for me was not expecting that this was gonna be that emotionally taxing. To me, it was like, I'm watching this and I'm pretty much trying to just get over with it because it's so slow. I just don't see the connection. I just don't see like the consequences, and then boom, it hits you. And because you are so defenseless, because you're basically not expecting a drama, you're not expecting that this to be so emotional, it just gets you bad. And I believe that's part of the success of the series. Seriously, it's just expect the unexpected, and this series delivers for that.
I have an actual example of my dam breaking during that. Is there's all those emotions, like just building every episode,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, just because my brain couldn't handle all of it, when Suzu-chan finds out that Daru's her dad, and she just like it goes in for that, and like there's this big embrace. There's that moment where she's so excited that she found her father, and he's so taken aback, but like there's this really funny but endearing moment where he's like, oh my god, I get laid in the future. And like and they come together, and I just fucking started crying. And I just it was everything leading up to that, or I was just like, I have to let it go. I'm just, oh, this is so like, I'm hooray.
I don't know where, man. I don't know where they find a way to surprise you in an emotional way, which is it's like watching a scary movie, but instead of getting scared, you get pretty much attack on the heart and just start like biting hard because those tears want to come out. It's one of those stories, man.
Bro, that's the one thing the Japanese know how to do, man. They know how to have you catch the feels, bro. Like it's not even just that episode, but like that anime in general. But there's a few that kind of get me like that too, man. And when it comes to storytelling, man, they do it straight from the heart, man. That's why I love watching anime.